Geno Auriemma offers an apology, but Dawn Staley is unfazed by it. Now, we all seen what happened in the South Carolina and UConn game when South Carolina took down UConn 62-48 in the Final Four game. Geno Auriemma had a tantrum. He absolutely lost it and went at Dawn Staley and lied about things that triggered up to his actions. And now he issues an apology, a statement out. And a lot of people are looking at that apology side-eyed because Geno did not address Dawn Staley in the apology. He addressed the coaching staff. Now Dawn Staley finally responds back to Geno's apology, and you don't want to miss what she had to say. You are now tuned into a brand new episode of the Simple Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K Sapp. Well, guys, we're going to talk about how Dawn Staley responded back to Geno Auriemma's apology, and we're going to do it right after this. Well, guys, man, Dawn Staley finally responds back to this so-called apology that Geno Auriemma offered to Dawn Staley and the South Carolina Gamecocks. But did he offer the apology to Dawn Staley, or did he direct that toward the coaching staff as a whole and the South Carolina team? A lot of people have been weighed in on this apology. A lot of people are looking at it side-eyed. A lot of people are raising their eyebrows because we know the history of Geno Smith. Geno Smith was going for that perfect season. He was 38-0 going into the Final Four game against South Carolina. And Dawn Staley and them Gamecocks put together a great game plan, and they stifled UConn. And they beat UConn 62-48 to advance to the national championship game and end a bid of a perfect season for UConn as they was going into the national title game to defend their championship. But they now have been ousted, and Geno Auriemma acted a fool, acted a donkey after that game, which the video was caught on camera in front of a national audience and millions of viewers. And now he issued a statement to apologize to Dawn Staley, quote unquote. It was supposed to be to Dawn Staley, but a lot of people are looking at it side-eyed because of the fact that the apology was written and it was directed toward the South Carolina coaching staff and the team. And this is how Geno Auriemma apologized. He said, "There's no excuse for how I handled the end of the game versus South Carolina. It's unlike what I do and what our standard is here at Connecticut. I want to apologize to the staff and the team at South Carolina. It was uncalled for on how I reacted. The story should be how well South Carolina played. I agree with that. And I don't want my actions to detract from that. I have a great relationship with their staff and sincerely want to apologize to them, Geno Auriemma." Now, a lot of people are looking at that apology side-eyed because everything was caught on camera, which was directed toward Dawn Staley. He should be apologizing to Dawn Staley directly. But Dawn Staley is unfazed by the whole situation. And when I say that she's unfazed by it, Dawn Staley finally responded to the apology that so-called Geno Auriemma wrote up himself and sent out. But Dawn Staley knows, just like I said, we've been covering the story. Apology not accepted. And this is how Dawn Staley responded to the apology from Geno. Take a listen.
ESPN. Geno put out an apology this morning in a statement. Did you guys talk at all? Did he reach out to you personally? Did you guys have any kind of conversation? Do you want to have a conversation to clear the air? Just kind of responding to his response.
For me, no distractions at this time. Concentrating on winning the national championship. That's
Shut
it.
that down.
Andrew?
Andrea Adelson, ESPN. As a quick follow-up to that, Don, how disappointed or fill-in-the-blank word are you that this has dominated the conversation instead of your journey to make it back to the championship game?
Yeah, that's a little disheartening. But at the same time, this is sports, and sometimes things like this happen. That's why I'm just going to just continue to focus on our team and their ability to advance in this tournament and hopefully win another national championship.
Hi, Maddie Kenny with the New York Post. How do you feel like you as a program has like built this bubble to ensure that like those distractions and things that could like, you know, undermine what you guys are trying to do, not, you know, become a bigger thing for you guys so you can stay focused on the goal?
Yeah. One, I had a praying mother, right? Right. Two, right, I grew up in the projects of North Philly, right? Philly, 215-267, right? Area code. So nothing can derail us or me from staying with the task at hand. There are a lot of distractions that are placed in your life. You're either going to address them and then let it overcome you, or you stick with the task at hand. I'm choosing to stick to the task at hand. At some point, everything's going to be addressed. But today, this weekend, won't be one of them.
You heard what Dawn Staley had to say, and he responded to that very mature, very respectfully. Didn't want to bash Geno, but she clapped back, knowing that she's looking at it side-eyed. But she said it comes a time that everything has to be addressed. But this won't be the time. Geno hasn't reached out to her personally or anything because she did refuse to, answer that. But I know deep down Geno hasn't reached out, because if that was the case, he wouldn't have released a statement the way he did if he reached out to her personally. So Dawn Staley finally responds back to the statement released by Geno Auriemma. It's supposed to be an apology, but that didn't sit well with a lot of people, and Geno's taking a lot of heat right now. Now, the thing about Geno, Dawn Staley coached under him in the Olympic game as an assistant coach. It seemed that they have a great relationship. But guys, I don't want y'all to get this twisted, because we've seen the relationship that Geno Auriemma had with the late, great Pat Summitt, the Hall of Fame coach out of Tennessee. And they had some indifferences, and that was never settled. So Pat Summitt had to take that to her grave with her. And that beef and things between them never got fixed. And a lot of people say, well, it's coaching. It happens. They'll work it out. We thought that him and Pat Summitt was going to work it out, but that never happened. So for people to say that, oh, it happens, they'll work it out, let's see if they work it out. Because the way Dawn Staley responded, she got some things to address. And I don't think Geno will initiate that. It's gonna have to come from Dawn Staley if things are gonna subdue between them, because this is a bad look on Geno. Geno went out terrible. A lot of people say that Geno Auriemma is a sore loser. Me, I'm one of them, because we've seen how Geno can act when he's losing. And for him to have that third quarter tirade with Holly Rowe, everything that he made up and sent out to the national airwaves on that interview about Dawn Staley can get away with anything she wants. She can say anything to the refs without getting a technical foul. Their players can beat my players up. One of my players had their jersey ripped and nobody said nothing about it. Well, Geno, don't you know your player, Sarah Strong, already told everybody none of the South Carolina players ripped her jersey. It was her that ripped her jersey out of frustration when she missed a shot at the end of the third quarter. So Geno, Dawn Staley's looking at you side-eyed right now. I see everybody in the comments section. #salute. If you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button. Turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger. Oh yeah, just in case I forgot. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. And this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. Catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.